And we're back
All right, another episode
of The Road to Code. I'm Victor. I am one of the co-hosts to the Road to Code podcast.
And I'm John, the other co-host.
And I'm Gerard, the other co-host.
My name is Rick. I'm the guest host.
Very cool. Thank you, Rick. Thank you for being here.
No problem. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Jonathan, before we get into the meat and potatoes, let's talk about Patreon.
Yeah. So we have a Patreon. Should I share my screen? Or...
You should probably share your screen.
All right. We have a Patreon called The Road to Code, where you can subscribe. The first tier is $5, obviously, and you get a free Road to Code coffee mug and early notifications of our YouTube videos and a yearly postcard expressing our appreciation for watching.
For $5, not bad.
$5.
$5 a month.
And the second tier, $8, not too much. You know, we want to keep it pretty simple, easy, affordable. And you get everything from tier 1 and early access to the Road to Code podcast before they're uploaded on YouTube.
Actually, early notification before we post it on social media.
On social media?
Yeah. So they'll get notification before we notify people on social media.
Yeah. And they're also invited to join as a co-host every quarter and, get to announce whatever or do anything.
Very cool. And then the final tier?
The VIPs get all of the benefits of the first and second tier and also get access to our raw footage of the Road to Code podcast.
That's right. This is raw, uncut, unedited. They get to see all the bloopers and blunders of what we ended up cutting out of the videos. Very cool.
That's where the good stuff is, huh?
Yeah. And they get early access too. So we upload the videos to a Plex server where people can watch them there if you're part of the VIP Patreon subscription. Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. We have a guest host today, Rick.
How you doing?
Excellent. Thank you for being here. We really do appreciate it when we get guest hosts. It kind of gives us a break from coding, from research. These videos really do take a huge toll on not just the editing portion, but everything that we do is like, even though I've been in the business or in the industry for quite a while, technology is constantly changing. So in order for us to get it right the first time on the first take, it takes me a week of research. And sometimes it'll take me a couple of days to figure something out, between the regular job, exercising, and then, driving home and trying to figure out what the problem is. And so like lunch breaks, after work, after working out, weekends, they're all spent doing, all the research and then write up all the notes so that as we're doing this, we get it right on the first take and we're not recording 10 hours of video to cut it down into one. We want to just record a couple of hours of video that we can cut down into one. So it does take time. So when we do get a guest host in, that kind of like a break week for us, and we do that like every 5 weeks. So,
I watch your videos on LinkedIn all the time, so I'm happy to be here because, I really enjoy them. So I'm glad you spend all that time, fixing them up because they're pretty good. So
awesome. That's really good to hear. All right, Jonathan, you want to kick it off?
All right. Yeah. All right, Ricky. Where were you born? And where were you born? Tell us about your life growing up.
All right. I was born in Alhambra, which is in Los Angeles. I was there basically my whole life up until I went to college. Me and my fiance, we moved to Fresno. So I got my bachelor's in business administration, information systems in Fresno. Then we moved back to LA to be with our family. It's pretty interesting because, I was working as a contractor at that time in the medical field. And I had quit right before COVID happened, I quit because she got accepted to a medical school in the Caribbean. So we got up and left in a month. We packed all our stuff, sold everything, sold our cars, and we went to the Caribbean. And we were living there for about 3 months. Everything was pretty good, you know. Like I was hanging out on the beach all the time. You know, I didn't really have to do much over there. Over there, beer is cheaper than water, so it was a lot of fun, you know. And but you know, while we were there, the coronavirus pandemic had started, and we were on a list for the U.S. With the U.S. Embassy because we were considered students there. They had sent us an email saying like we need to come back to the States because they're not going to send any they're not going to be able to send any aid to the island. So basically if you get sick on that island, you have to use their medical, you know, resources. And so we're like, okay, well, I guess it's time to go back. So we flew back to the States, and she got accepted to a school here in Pomona, Western University, a medical school, to become a veterinarian. So we got lucky there, so we didn't have to go back to the Caribbean. And at the same time, you know, the pandemic started going. So Kaiser Permanente, where I was a contractor at, they actually called me and asked me if I wanted to, you know, come back to work full time. So I started working there ever since the pandemic started. So it's been a wild ride over there. But that's pretty much what happened to me. You know, I grew up in LA and I ended up back in LA. So I'm here now.
Your roots brought you back, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Southern Cal, so you know, like I will always come back to this place.
Wow, that's pretty crazy that the government actually asked you to come back. Because I was going to ask you, when you were in the Caribbean, the part of the Caribbean was not part of the U.S., right?
Right, it wasn't part of the U.S. I think they're their own sovereign islands. The ones because we were on St. Kitts and Nevis, beautiful island, but they're their own sovereign nation. So yeah, they're not part of the U.S.
So you couldn't even work if you wanted to.
No, I couldn't. I think I was able to work at the school because it was a U.S. school. I actually applied for a couple positions there because it was based from the U.S. You know, but everything kind of came to a halt once the pandemic started. I think the school even came to like a pause for a while. Students had to like do online stuff. But yeah, but you know, it wasn't really the U.S. Embassy telling us to come back. It's just basically like warning us, like, you know, there's stuff happening. If you need help, like you should come back. You know, so it's been interesting. Yeah.
That's wild. That's
Yeah,
wild. I mean, talk about a time to you know, for this to happen. It's like you're out in the Caribbean enjoying life, and it's like,
Being an
you
island
know,
boy.
I'm an island boy. I'm an island boy. Yeah.
very cool.
All right, Ricky. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think honestly, when I grew up, I wanted to be a pilot for some reason. You know,
Like a
I just
helicopter pilot or an airplane pilot.
I didn't care. You know, like I just wanted to be in the air. And I don't know. Like as I grew up, you know, I met my fiance pretty young. We've been together for like 13 years, so like I never really wanted to join the military. You know, so but when I was younger, my dad, he used to buy pallets of used computers and he would bring them home and he would go through all these pallets that have like 50, 60 computers on them, right? Most of them were like junk, most of them didn't work, but you know, he'd get like 4 or 5 good ones and then he would resell them. And that was back in the 90s. And then when he would do that, like the broken ones he would give me and I would like rip them apart, you know, play with all the parts in it. And, you know, I was like 8 years old, like trying to figure out a computer. And I think it just kind of stuck with me. So as I grew up, like I just started liking technology more and more. And every time I went to a job, I'd end up in like the technology section of that job. So when I went to college, I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna, you know, stick with it. It's what I like, and I have to feel like it's what I'm good at. So originally I wanted to be a pilot. I still think I'm gonna get my pilot's license, my private pilot's license, you know, but it costs a bit of money, so I just have to save up for it. But now that I'm in tech, like I absolutely love it. You know, the technology field, like you said, it's always changing and there's always something new to learn, you know, so I love being in it.
Yeah. Pilot's license, man. That sounds like an expensive hobby.
I know, right? I was
Yeah.
looking up, I think it's like minimum 10 grand to get it, you know, but I mean, to me, it might be it's probably worth it, you know?
Yeah.
You know?
That is crazy. That is crazy. So take us back, like when as your dad was bringing home the pallets of computer,
Mm-hmm.
what this was, you were living in Alhambra,
Yeah, I was living in Alhambra, yeah.
and at what point did you move out of Alhambra?
Well, I didn't move out of Alhambra until I got accepted to college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to Fresno State. I did go to my community college was Mount San Antonio College in Walnut.
Mount
Awesome
Sac.
school. Yeah, I love Mount Sac. One of the best schools I've ever been to. But yeah, I would just travel there, and then so once I got accepted to Fresno State, that's when I finally moved out and started living in Fresno until I finished my degree and then we moved back. So yeah, that was the point where I kind of broke off and left.
Oh, wow. Your parents are still in Alhambra?
Yeah, right now they're still in Hamburg.
Wow. That's cool.
So,
That's really cool.
Been there for a while.
Yeah, yeah. So you're like a native of Alhambra,
Oh yeah. Yeah,
born and raised in the rough
exactly.
streets of Alhambra. Is that even a valid
Exactly.
statement?
No, it's not. Yeah, it's a
Oh,
really
man.
nice place.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. That you had, I mean, a completely different career path. And I think as kids, we all kind of like want to be the fireman, want to be,
Oh, yeah.
the basketball player, the baseball player, the next up and coming, famous soccer player and stuff like that. And life just kind of throws these curves at you that they end up taking you to a place where you didn't even think about,
Yeah.
you didn't even think about where you were going to end up at.
Mhm.
But you said you started like around the age of 8
Mhm.
to like tear apart computers and whatnot. But like at what point did you realize, yeah, the pilot thing's not going to work out? I'm going to have to start like really taking this, tearing computers apart and actually fixing computers. When did you see that turn of events?
Honestly, I was working at a warehouse called propertyroom.com, and basically they got like confiscated police stuff, and they would clear it off, delete all the data off of it, and if the person didn't claim it back by a certain time, they would sell it to the public. And so like I was first starting off in warehousing, like packaging items and stuff, and then eventually they needed help in the department that wipes the hard drives and stuff, and I'm like, I know how to do that, so I started doing that, and I would fix equipment if we could, or whatever, and it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. But then at that same time when I was working for that company, my fiance, she got accepted to Fresno State to because they have a pre-veterinarian program there, and she's in school to be a veterinarian. So she was gonna go up there, and I was like, well, I could move too. So I actually transferred undecided with her, and I think it was at that point that I realized, okay, like I'm not gonna do the pilot thing because I'm going to college now. Like this is the point where I'm changing. I'm going to college. And while I was in high school, I had this counselor. Her name was Jacqueline Herrera. She was like one of the best counselors ever. And she really laid out like the paths for me. She's like, if you're gonna do a pilot, you got to do this. If you're gonna go to college, you got to do this. And everything I was doing, it like life just kept falling in line with the college. Like going to college, and my fiance got accepted, I got accepted. So it's like, why wouldn't I keep running with this as it was happening? And so when I actually got accepted to Fresno State, they had openings for IT technicians there, for student IT technicians. So I applied and I was able to work there as an IT technician while I was going to school for IT. So like it just kind of all went together. And at that point, I'm like, okay, like I'm not gonna go be a pilot yet. Like this is all working out too good for me.
So they didn't have a pilot's program at Fresno State?
They might have. I've never looked. I know Mount Sac used to. I know that Mount Sac used to have a Mount Sac Air Force. I remember when we graduated, they flew over in the little biplanes. Yeah, that was pretty cool. But yeah, I never.
Wait, did you say a bike plane?
No, biplanes. Like the I don't know, the planes with rotors on them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So they
Yeah.
actually have a pilot program at Mount Sac?
They did. I don't know if they still have it. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
wow.
they might. Yeah.
That's great. I never heard of a college or university having a pilot program.
Yeah, they did, and it was pretty interesting. They
That's
called
cool.
it the Mount Sac Air Force.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it was
So okay, so yeah, so you went to college, your counselor kind of guided you through that whole process, and that's when you finally embraced the whole technology aspect of your
Right.
career.
Yeah, that's when I was like, I'm fully in this, like I'm not getting out of it.
That's
Plus, it was fun, so like I didn't want to leave it.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's decent money.
Mhm.
It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
not bad. I mean, it's a decent way of making a living, and it's not backbreaking,
Mhm.
so it's something that you can do into your old age. It's like a lot of people, when they get into a career, they don't think about, can I do this when my back is broken? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like construction work pays well, it pays really good, but you
Mhm.
can't do it past a certain age because your body just becomes frail, and you just can't keep up with it. And unless you've taken the opportunity to try to advance into a higher part of that career of construction, and
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're going to be retiring really early in life and probably broke.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's one thing I feel like a lot of people don't like realize is that in IT it's not, it's not just fixing the computer, it's not just, programming. There's so many aspects to IT. Like you can, anyone that, could really fit into it if they find the right job. Like, there's business jobs in IT that don't really require technical experience, where you just need a, business background, and you can it's pretty lucrative, like consulting, selling services. Like these are all things that everybody needs, and it's like where I work, I'm constantly working with vendors. We're all constantly buying new technologies. Everything is evolving. So really, like, for people who want to get into IT but they think it requires a lot, it doesn't. You can really change any background you have to work with it and make a lot of money, like you said.
Let me ask you a question, and this is a controversial question. Do you feel that you needed to get your degree in order to do what you're doing now?
So this is funny because a lot of people ask me that actually, and I think no, but it's definitely helpful because, like the guys on my team, a lot of them don't have degrees, but they're doing the same thing as me, and they're doing it just as good, and because they have years of experience for it. So really, if you plan right, like you don't need a college degree. It depends on what path you want to take to get there. Like you said, there's tons of like boot camps and stuff that really help, and they really get you prepared for the technical aspect of it. I think it's good to go to at least community college because there's a lot of soft skills you learn there. Like how to write papers and stuff. So like but you don't have to get the degrees for that. You could just go to learn. But overall, I think no, it's not. It's not essentially necessary, but it can really help.
Yeah,
Especially if you're in an interview with somebody who's done the same things with you at life, but you have a degree that they don't. Like it might make the breaking difference. So
absolutely. Yeah.
it
No,
just
I
depends.
agree with that. Totally agree with that.
So it just depends on what
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
But to me, I think there's always hope. Like people who say like, I don't have a degree, I can't do it. Like you can. You just got to find the right spots.
yeah, yeah. And I think the ambition and showing, or at least demonstrating the passion, of what you want to do really does help a lot.
Oh yeah,
So very cool.
attitude. Your attitude makes a huge difference on how things are. Like what happens for you.
Definitely, definitely. Cool.
All right. What what kind of technology do you think helped reach your career potential?
I think it's kind of funny. When I was in community college, I did an essay. I remember. No, it wasn't. It was right before I went to community college. In the newspaper, there was an essay that said like, write this essay out explaining why you love technology, and the winners are gonna get a free iPad. And this is when iPad had just. This is the first generation iPad that just came out. And I was like, oh, that's really awesome. Like, like I never had one or seen one or touched one, like because it was new technology. So I wrote the essay and I actually won. And so they gave me the iPad, and like that iPad changed school for me like forever because no, I didn't have to carry books no more. I could take notes on the iPad. Like there's just so many, you could look things up instantly when you're in class. And it just like it was so game changing, like all throughout college. Like I never even carried a backpack with me. I would just carry my iPad. If I needed something out of a book, I would just take pictures of it throughout before I went to class, and then it was there. And now I think it's harder to do that because schools and software have a lot of like licensing and DMM restrictions, so you can't like save books to your iPad anymore because it's like it could be seen as pirating.
All right,
But
the
that
real question is iPad or Android, or Apple or Android?
I think they both have their niche. Like for my personal devices, I'm like Android 100%. Like I love Android. I don't like iPhone like for my personal stuff, but for like my work phone is iPhone. Like everything I do at work is iDevices, and because it works. It just works, And for people who don't really understand technology, it's easier for them to use an iDevice. But for me, like I love Android because it has so much more functionality. Like there's so many more things you can do with it. But so
It's
yeah, so
funny.
secretly Android,
It's funny, John, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, that'd be one of the fun questions there. Apple or Android?
Yeah, I think that's gonna get a lot of people mad though.
So you kind of dip your toes into both technologies, Apple
Yeah.
and Android.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, working in the field, like we have thousands of mobile devices. So, some things can only be done on Android. So, like you really have to be versatile and be able to learn both devices. And I think, like I said, they're both really powerful and they could do great things on whatever they're being used for.
yeah, definitely.
Great. What are some of the more common technology tools, software or hardware, you use in your everyday life or everyday job?
Um, Software, I use PowerShell a lot. I think that's one of the most like underrated tools out there because it's free. It's on every Windows computer. But
Remember we
just
talked about that, Gerard, in our
Yeah.
last
yeah,
episode?
yeah, like I mean, pretty much anything you could do with the GUI, like you can do with PowerShell. You can set up servers headless without even looking at it. You just need to know the PowerShell codes to get it done. And it really helps when you're working in a corporate environment because you can run codes to find pretty much any piece of information you want. So that I think is really undervalued. Most large companies have like their in-house tools that they use a lot, but like PowerShell will always work with it because it's Windows. It's in Windows. So but yeah, that's my favorite one. Hardware wise, honestly, like I have this little tiny screwdriver that I use. It always comes in handy. It's one of those multi tools, but it has like a little tiny screwdriver on it, and for some reason I always need it. Like
Wait. I think I have it. Hold on. Let me grab it really quick. Does it happen to be this one here? Here, watch.
Yes.
It
Yep.
has the pliers. It
Yep.
has, let's see here. It has the
Oh,
Yeah.
bottle
that was
opener.
way cooler.
This thing. It also has the. Pull this. It also has like another can opener, and then on this side, in case anybody wants to get a little bit on the edge, you have the Phillips screwdriver. I have the flathead, and then I have like a little saw,
Yep.
and then the whole thing just kind of turns into a set of pliers. So is it this one or is it a different one?
No, what? It's exactly like that one, but it's like 1/3 the size. It's like
all right.
It's a keychain one that I put on my keys. Yeah, 'cause I don't like carrying stuff in my pockets. I gotta be able to be fast. Walk around fast. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's a little tiny one. It's surprising how many things that little the little one works for.
Is it this?
Yeah, it's kind of like that one, but not that one.
Oh, I have all my keys right here, and then I have like a bottle opener.
Dude, that was awesome. What? Yeah, the bottle. Definitely that bottle opener working in IT though. So.
Then I have like a SIM tool remover.
Oh, that's awesome. What? I always have to find paper clips because I'm like, damn, I don't have my SIM tool.
Yeah, bottle openers, can openers, always needed in IT for after hours. For the after hours, there's always going to be some kind of alcohol in the fridge.
Oh, they're the Mexican Coca-Colas.
Oh, the Mexican Coca-Cola.
Yes. Extra sugar. Yeah, you need that.
Very cool. Very cool. So what is it about technology that you like the most?
For myself, I love that it's always changing because there's always something like new to learn. It's always getting. Well, some people will fight, but to me, it's always getting better. A lot of people don't think so. But honestly, like I feel like it really connects. It really connects a large amount of people. Like at my job, like, doctors could still be doctors without technology, like, people could still do their job, but at the scale that it is now, like, I think we're at like 8 billion people on the planet now, everybody has a personal device. So everybody has, a tablet, a laptop, a computer. And so like I really like it because it allows everyone to connect, like right now we're doing this over Zoom. Would we've been doing this 10 years ago? Probably not. I'd probably be in your room right now, drinking a couple beers, but you didn't invite me. So no, I'm just kidding.
Well,
But,
that's because the game doesn't start until 3. That's
that's
why.
right. That's right. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I really like how it like gives the ability to connect everybody at a large scale.
Yeah. Very cool.
The last kind of introduction question. What do you wish the industry would change about technology tools you use every day?
There's a lot of good stuff coming out in technology. But I feel like when the new stuff usually comes out, it's pretty expensive, and it's hard for like the everyday consumer to get into. Like, for example, when you use Azure, like it works really great for company-wide or businesses. But if you try to set up your own personal thing on it, it could get pretty pricey depending on what you do. I really wish it would kind of scale down for the average person so we could all really enjoy the new technologies coming out.
What did you call it?
Azure?
You talking about Azure, Microsoft Azure?
Yeah.
It's free. What are you talking about?
Free?
Yeah, we're using it for free.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No,
If you watch
I'll watch your videos.
if you watch episode 1 of season 2,
Mm.
Jonathan will walk you through how to set it up for free.
All right, I'll watch it
Free
then.
as in beer free,
Nice.
Yeah, actually there are some features that do cost. And so some of the stuff that we're covering here in season 2 is staying within the free tier.
Okay.
I think we might fall into something that we might pay, Jonathan, which is the database. But the database still is only like $5 a month.
Okay.
It's one of the low end, but yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna have to jump in on more of your videos then.
yeah, or reach out to me and we can get together with the guys and we'll talk about how to set up what well, first obviously what do you want to do, right? Because there are going to be some things that do cost. So like virtual machines, they're going to cost always. Virtual machines are always going to cost. Databases are always going to cost. Any type of virtualization, but any type of like serverless software, such as like web applications, function applications, even hosting files, as long as you stay within a below a certain threshold, it's free. It's when you start setting up the Linux boxes and when you start setting up the Windows boxes or the server boxes,
Right.
that's when things, and possibly because you're going into your career is more on the hardware side, and using PowerShell, obviously having that virtual box is probably the cost that you're looking for. And that can get pricey really quick.
Yeah, I'm heavy into like VMs and virtual machines. So when I try to price it out, it's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Like you said, but I don't usually write applications and stuff, so I can see how you're saying it could be a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
but I'll definitely want to get in on it, so I'll start watching your videos to figure that out.
That just gave me an idea for a video, Gerard. I think next month I can budget out to build out the box that you gave me in December. And so it would be good to have that into 2 separate episodes. One episode would be obviously building the machine, putting it together. And then the second episode would be installing the operating system and setting up the virtual environment so that because right now I run a lab in my house and I run a total of like 8 virtual machines on one of my machines that I run here. One of them's a file server. One of them's a web server. I have a couple of Linux servers on there. There's a couple that I use for development. And then the one that kind of just hosts the whole thing. I think I have about 12 terabytes of drive space.
Nice.
And Yeah, I mean it's due for an upgrade. It's about 10 years old, so
Oh
it's due for an
well.
upgrade. And Gerard gave me a box in December, or did you bring it? You brought it in January. You brought it in January because
Yeah.
I went on vacation in January, and so I remember you dropped it off while I was gone. Um, but yeah, so he gave me a nice little cube to build out a machine. So it's
Nice.
but yeah, I'm thinking it'll be good. That episode might serve you well so that you can actually have your little virtual machine lab
Hmm.
in your home instead of
Yeah.
you know having Azure
Hosted. Yeah.
hosted and having to pay that big price.
Hmm.
So yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, no, but I'm with you on the price entry point.
Yeah.
There's other services. I think AWS also has something similar.
Hmm.
Their tools are not as advanced as Microsoft. There's also Linode, um, Linod, that also has that type of service as well. But yeah. So
Yeah, I noticed that both of them, when you sign up, they give you like AWS and Azure, they give you a like a startup credit, so you can
$200
try
a
it,
month.
right? Yeah, so you get a little bit to play around with, and I think I used it up real quick, but
Man, what kind of monster are you creating
I
over
know,
there?
right?
Yeah. So Rick, one of the things that we wanted to do for you as a thank you for joining us is that we wanted to give you some merch.
Oh,
And
awesome.
so what we're gonna give you, Jonathan, would you mind bringing up the merch store?
Oh yeah. We have
So
Road to Code website right here.
Nice.
And we have a little official merch tab that goes to our merch.
Oh, those are
And we
nice.
got women's t-shirts, regular t-shirts, mugs, long sleeves, a hoodie, tote bags, and yeah, this is
So yeah, so Rick, what
Nice.
we're gonna do is I heard you mention a couple times that you have a fiance, so we're gonna give you a woman's classic tee and a man's classic tee.
Oh, awesome.
You can give after the show, you can give Jonathan the sizes that you need. We're also gonna give you a coffee mug. And
All
what
right.
color tote bag do you want? You want black or you want white?
Oh, that's awesome. I'll take black.
Okay,
Yeah,
so yeah,
nice.
so we'll have all that set up. We'll have Jonathan yeah, go ahead and get the delivery going, and we'll hand it over to you guys.
Oh, you're
Um,
awesome. Yeah, those are awesome. We'll wear it
yeah.
matching on Valentine's Day to
That'll be for next year, huh?
That'll be for next year. Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah. So we just wanted to do that as an appreciation of coming to be a guest on our show, giving us a break of research and coding and it's fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy doing it, but I think doing these guest host conversations, and I don't like to call them interviews. I think they are conversations. It does give us a break, and it prevents us from burning out. Because we all got regular day jobs. We all have to go and exercise, and there's only so many hours in the day, and it becomes really a big part of our life, and so it gives us a break here. So thank you
Absolutely.
for coming on board.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It's been a lot of fun. So
Yeah. We do have a final piece of questions, and we have these as fun questions. There's no right or wrong. It just kind of more for the entertainment for the kids at home.
all right.
First one would be, what 3 pieces of advice would you give yourself as your career began to take shape?
I think the first one is like, don't worry,
Be happy.
things come.
Don't
Yeah,
worry. Be happy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Is that when you have one of those funny little cigarettes going on too?
Exactly.
that's what he learned when he was an island boy.
Yeah, exactly. They taught me that there, But yeah, like
No,
life comes and you just run with it, things will never come. Most of the time they don't happen as planned. So you just don't worry about it too much. My second one that I would tell myself, one of my college professors actually told me, and I don't know if she was quoting somebody else, but she told me, there's no such thing as luck. What luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. So she told me, always be prepared to take the opportunity, don't wait to learn something. Don't wait to, seek some help out. Like, always be prepared, because you never know when that opportunity is going to come. And if you're not ready at that time, you could miss it, so that's one big one. Third one, I don't really know. Those two are pretty much my big morals that I run with.
They're kind of just dovetailing on that same question and what you said. There is a book. Oh man, forget the name of the title, and I know I'm going to screw this up, but it has to do with luck. And in that book, the guy talks about all these things that fell in place for different like sports
Athletes.
athletes, company owners, millionaires, all that stuff. They had the opportunity to learn something, and when it came time for them to execute, it just happened to be the right time. He starts off talking about hockey leagues, and he talks about how everyone born after a certain day in February just happened to be like a really good hockey player in Canada. And so they were thinking, is it that time of the year? Does it have to do with the Capricorn Aquarius, astrology sign? Does, what is it about that? And so they took a deeper analysis, and what they realized is that to join the league, the cutoff date was a certain day in February, which meant that if you didn't reach a particular age before that February, you had to wait a whole other year before you can join, which meant that you had a whole other year to play. Oh, sorry, I messed this one up. It was the opportunity to move into the next level of hockey. Like, how they have like the Pee-wee leagues, the midget leagues, and then the senior leagues and stuff like that. So it was like the opportunity to go from like the Pee-wee leagues to like the midget league, which is the next one. And so the people born after a certain day in February had a whole year of practicing with kids that were barely coming in. So they had the opportunity to actually exercise what they've learned and succeed before they moved into that next level of hockey, where if a person was in a Pee-wee league and they just got inundated with all this technique and knowledge about how to hit the puck and how to score a goal and stuff like that, they never got to do it successfully because everyone was on an even playing field. But the kids that stayed behind had an extra year, and now the playing field was uneven. So the guys that were there from the year before were now just beating up on the kids that are just joining, and they were able to be successful, so that when they went to the next league of their hockey career, they now knew what it felt to execute a successful goal, a successful hit on the hockey puck, and things like that. And so it was the chance of learning. And then when the opportunity came to execute, they were given that opportunity. He also talked about the Beatles, how the Beatles just wasn't a group that just got lucky of forming the band that they got to be, so that they can play good music. They actually were a band in London that would play at a strip club 7 days a week, 8 hours a day for a whole year before they came to the United States. And the reason they were so good and they executed their music so well was because they were practicing without getting paid for 7 days a week, 8 hours a day. And when it came time, they were able to improvise, without any trouble, because they knew each other's body language. They knew how, the percussionists worked. They knew how the guitarists, the pianists, all those, they knew how everyone worked. And all they got to do is they would communicate silently to each other in case there was some kind of improvisation that they had to do in the middle of a song or whatever the case is. He also talked about Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Wozniak, which is the other founder of Apple, and then the founder of Sun Microsystem, how they were all born in between 1953 and 1956. They're like, what's so special about those years, you know? And he talked about how technology was evolving by the time they turned 18 and they got into computers. Technology had evolved in such a way that they were able to like really focus and learn about programming, about computers. And so when it came age to execute and start a business, they knew about technology so much that they were able to execute successfully. So it's interesting that your professor talks about there's no such thing as luck. And I think the title of the book is called something like Leave It Up to Luck or something like that.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah. He also talked about the diapers, Pampers, I think it was, where it was a huge success here in the United States. But when they went to the Chinese market in China, they weren't selling very well. And, you know, they were marketing, you know, about how it was absorbent and how kids would sleep the whole night and stuff like that. And that marketing tactic, although it worked great here in the US, it didn't work in China. So they interviewed people, and the people that did use Pampers on their kids, just like, you know, what is it that makes you use Pampers versus cloth diapers? Because cloth diapers, you know, it was during that time where disposable diapers were just coming onto the market. Everybody was still using cloth diapers. And so they interviewed all these Chinese people who bought diapers. And the biggest thing was that the baby slept the whole night, which allowed the women to rest and get good sleep, so that when men wanted sex, they were rested and available for their husband. And so they switched their marketing and they started talking about like, hey, men, if you want your women to be ready, get the kids Pampers so that your women can rest and they'll be ready for sex. And that just exploded in the Chinese market, and you couldn't keep Pampers on the shelves of the stores.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so it is like, you know, there is no such thing as luck. Yeah. And I totally agree with your teacher.
Yeah, that's incredible. I never knew that. So that's definitely shifting your perspective, you know.
Completely.
Take advantage of it. Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
All right. The next question is, if you had the opportunity to work with someone, dead or alive, who would that be and why?
Oh, that's a hard one. I think it would be with Tesla, you know, because there's all this there's so many like historical things about him, you know, possibly knowing how to make free energy, you know, just all these things that we don't know for certain if he was able to do, you know, to be able to work with them and maybe see these things happen. Like maybe it's possible to make him, you know, more popular than he was at that time. But I think that would be a great person to see in action, you know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
It definitely would be pretty cool.
Right.
Right. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say this is the real fun questions here.
On to the fun ones. What would the theme song of your life be?
Oh, that's funny. It's we were talking about earlier. Don't worry, right?
Don't
worry about a thing. Yeah, definitely. I'm taking that one.
Yeah, that definitely falls into place. Yeah, that's cool. Wait, so for every guest, we always show the YouTube video. Let me go ahead and bring that up, and let me share that. We'll play just a couple of seconds of that.
Nice.
Let's see if it comes up.
No, not that one.
No, it's Bob Marley, huh?
Yeah.
Is it? No, it's not. Don't worry, be happy.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know.
I think so.
We'll
Yeah.
go with that one.
Do it. Yeah. Go with that one.
Do it. Maybe I just had the lyrics wrong. But
This one right here. This is it. So this is what you're
3 little birds.
There it is.
that's it right there. That would be Rick's theme song right
There
there.
it is, yep.
Don't worry.
It's
yeah.
the first few words.
Good jam. That's it.
Very cool. Very
That's
cool.
it. I think especially right now, with this pandemic going on, a lot of people have a lot of anxiety, restlessness, it's kind of like, it's crazy right now. There's a lot of bad things happening, but just don't worry. Like, we should get better,
It will. Most definitely will. Let's see. Let me get my notes back up here. What talent do you possess that not a lot of people know about?
Ooh, that's hard. I don't really know because I'm kind of like an open book, Everything I tell you guys is out there. Yeah, I don't really have any hidden talents that I could think of. Yeah, nothing I could think of right now.
Can you change the oil in your car?
Yeah, I can.
Do a lot of people know
Yeah,
about that?
It's funny that you say that because when I came back from the island, like when we left to the Caribbean island, I had sold my car. So when I came back, I didn't have a car. And my dad, he had a 2008 Patriot. And this thing, I mean,
What kind of car?
a 2008 Jeep Patriot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're not very reliable cars, had a lot of things wrong with it. So it was just kind of sitting in his backyard because it wasn't working. So over the time period that we came back and I didn't have a job yet, I spent like 3 or 4 months just trying to get it back to life, So I had to get the head redone. I swapped out like the AC, I don't know, there was the whole rear end suspension. And there's like, he took pictures of me underneath this car with like the whole front end off just to get it working again, and it only had like 100,000 miles on it, but it was a pain.
Jeez.
And I became a YouTube mechanic for 3 straight months, rebuilt that thing.
Certified YouTube mechanic.
Exactly. So I guess that's a hidden talent. Brought that thing back to life.
There you
And,
go.
that was like I think it had 110,000 miles, and right now I'm at like 190. So yeah, we got it going for another 90,000 miles. So
So there you go. You could become a certified YouTube mechanic and
Yeah.
get your car running and get another 90,000 out of a dead car.
that's right. Yeah.
I'm
There you go.
I'm part of the 200,000 mile club. On my
Nice.
Honda.
Well, I'm gonna have to have a bee jump me once it dies again, though. 'Cause I don't know if I can get it past 200.
That's cool.
All right. If you could play a scene in a movie, what would it be and which character would you play?
I think I'd want to be like Harry Potter. To be honest, like that guy has some
Wizard,
crazy-
Rick.
Yeah.
Wait,
Who wouldn't, right?
From
You
what
know?
what movie?
Like which one? Like which
Yeah,
movie?
yeah.
Ooh. I think it would be, I don't know the names of them, but probably I think it's called the Order of the Phoenix, where he learns about his family and everything, and they have that secret group that
Oh, yeah.
the fighting wizards. Like that one was pretty awesome, Yeah, that's where they really showed that they had like really cool wizarding powers.
So are we talking about this one here? Let me share my screen again.
Pull up the Plex server. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's when they formed a secret clan and
Yeah,
started beating up people.
that's right.
Would this be the scene?
Yeah, yeah, that's one cool one. They start fighting all the Death Eaters, right? Oh yeah,
The who eat?
The mysteries.
Death Eaters.
Death Eaters.
Bit right, didn't
I think it's like the bad guys.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we don't want to get in trouble with YouTube.
I know. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
All right. Next question would be, what is your favorite quote?
I think I told it to you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would definitely go with that one. Always be prepared because that's really what luck is, in my opinion.
What was the actual quote itself?
It was
There's no such thing as luck.
there's no such thing as luck. Luck is when preparedness meets opportunity. and it's like, so always be prepared.
That's right. I like that. That's very cool.
You can get that on a bumper sticker. Put it on.
And then put the 200,000 plus miles on there.
Yeah, right underneath it.
Very cool. Who's next? Is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, losing track here. What is one of the things that you'd like to cross off your bucket list this year?
You know, I think I want to go skydiving.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Only because I haven't done it yet, and I feel like we're getting older, you know. Like, and I don't want.
You're not gonna wait till you're 90 to go skydiving.
At that time, I'll think about it too much, and I'm like, I can't do this no more, you know. So I got to do it while I still feel like I can.
When did you put that on your bucket list?
It's just always been there, you know. It's like something cool that I like just had never had the time to go do, you know. But I think they do it down in San Diego, so it's might just like take a weekend off and go do it.
Yeah. So if any of your family members are watching this, you know what to give for his birthday. Skydiving trip.
I'm gonna take your sons with me. So.
You know, I heard that if the parachutes don't deploy, your second skydive is free.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just heard it. I don't know if it's true. I really don't know if it's true. Skydiving. Very cool. Very cool.
All right. Last question is, what's something you'd like to be known for?
Oh, you know, I want to create something new that really helps the tech industry. I think that's why I'm going to start getting into programming. I don't have any ideas yet, but I really want to like create something that could help the, you know, not really the tech industry, just like people in general, but having to do with tech, you know. I just haven't been able to develop that goal yet.
Like when you say want to help, like in what way?
Like, you know, there's a lot of I feel like there's a lot of new technologies like that are bringing people together. You know, there's like Zoom, you know, WhatsApp out there that really helps people communicate. You know, something that allows people to communicate. But I just feel like right now the market's like oversaturated with new forms of communication. So I really want to like develop something new that doesn't exist yet. But really coming up with that idea is pretty hard.
So you're talking about like helping for communication or for to bring family together, or to just bring people in general together?
Just bring people in general together. You know, like there's this whole metaverse coming out. We don't know where it's gonna, you know, go with that. You know, so yeah, just bringing people together. I feel like in a new way. You know, something new. Because right now, you know, we talk on the phone, we see each other over the screen. Like there has to be some other kind of ways. You know. I know like Tesla's working with Neuralink, you know, like what if you could bring like emotions together, you know, like what if you could force happiness to be felt, you know, by communicating with somebody on the other side. Like we don't really have, we can receive emotion by talking to each other, but can you really like feel emotion as if you were next to people, you know, like we don't have that yet. So just something new.
Wow. I think there's a TV show. I'm not sure if it's on Prime or Netflix, where there was a doctor who it's more of a horror TV series. There's a doctor in this TV series that wanted to feel people's pain. And so he became addicted to it.
Oh, wow.
To the point where he was actually letting his patients die from the pain so that he can feel the pain. You know? Not that I haven't watched it. Somebody told me about it, but they're all into it. I was like, dude, you're kind of cynical, you know?
I've never heard of that. Yeah, that's a little too far for me.
Yeah.
I just want to have like smell-o-vision so I could like
exactly
send it to you guys.
Exactly. Put it in a bag, put it in the freezer, you know. No, but yeah, that'd be awesome. Like smell-o-vision, you know. What about like taste-o-vision, you know? What if you're watching a food show and want to taste that food? Like how do you do that? Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So I heard you mention a couple of times that you had a fiance. Here we are. Today is Sunday, February 13. When's the wedding?
It's actually in June, on June 5th. Yeah, so it's
of
coming up soon.
2022. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up. Yeah, it's coming up real fast.
All right. So by the time, if anybody's watching this video and June 5th has come around, he's off the market, ladies.
It's
Sorry.
funny.
He's off the market. You had your opportunity. That's it. It's done. Very cool. Well, we want to thank you so much, Rick, for coming on as a guest and talking about technology. I think one of the things that we mentioned in episode 1 was that all our guests this year all work around technology, but they're not developers. I know that we do have the title of the show called Road to Code. But one of the things that we wanted to do was focus around people that use technology rather than program it. And, as a way to kind of focus on bringing changes to technology for people to get into it. And you brought up a good point, make it affordable at the entry level so that when people do want to test things out, they can, they have a way of doing so either free or in an affordable fashion. So yeah, that was a good point. And I'm glad that we were able to bring at least one point out during the show. So thank you so much. And, whenever you want to come back, just holler at Jonathan or Gerard and you're more than welcome to come back and talk about more technology. If you want to get into technology, definitely reach out to us, and we can give you some guidance for whatever it is that you want to do. Obviously, I go back to the analogy of when Gerard and Jonathan started swimming. Began learning how to swim, it was that they were blowing bubbles into the water, they're trying to get their face in the water, and although it seems like a very elementary thing to do, those are necessary steps in order for people to feel comfortable to get swimming. I can definitely help you out in getting you introduced to coding. And just depending on what you want to get into, I can help you find resources that you don't have to pay for. I mean, you already paid for school, you already got your degree. That's I think one of the things that matters to a lot of people that are getting that matters to the hiring managers in some cases, not always. And I think the fact that you got that out of the way, from this point forward, whatever you learn is going to be well respected, and so I can definitely help you find some resources to get you started, and also help guide you. If you need that guidance, questions, I'm curious, just as curious as any other cat in this town. It's like, and whenever you have a question and I don't know the answer, I'll help you find the answer. That's the type of research that I do, and I really do enjoy finding answers for technology, especially when it comes to programming. I think it's really fun. All right, any final words, guys? All right, well, until next time,
Peace out.
peace.